Good morning, my dear students, and a very warm welcome to all of you in this e-learning program that is organized by Shri Gyan Manjari Vidyapith. Friends, welcome to Science by Harsha ma'am. I hope you remember that we have completed till Kingdom Planting, and as I promised that we'll do the entire revision of all the parts that we have done till now. After that, we will switch on to the Kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia is containing 9 subphylums. Just imagine inside one kingdom the subdivision is of phylums, as we already saw in Kingdom Plantae. The basic bifurcation into 2 parts and further into 3 and into 2. So I hope you are clear with the content. Today we are going to see the entire part 1 that we have done till date. So let's start on. Introduction to biodiversity. I hope you remember this is the lesson which we are doing. Let's start on further. What is biodiversity? What is the meaning of the word bio? Living. Diversity, it means bhinnata. So, a variety of plants and animals that are living in a particular area or a region, they are termed as biodiversity. Also means the number or abundance of different species living within a particular region. That is called as biodiversity. This is the particular definition which is given in your book of biodiversity. It is the variety in living organism on the basis of cell organization, mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition is of how many types? The basic classification is of 2 types, that is autotrophic and heterotrophic. If we talk about autotrophic nutrition, then autotrophic nutrition means the food is prepared by its own, while heterotrophic means the food is made with the help of some of the supplements that is taken. By the external mode, it is taking the food. You might have seen that movie in which of the aliens and the Hrithik Roshan and Preeti Zinta. You might be knowing about Jadoo. He is taking the धूप. उनकी बॉडी क्या होती है? ऑटोट्रॉफिक. ऐसा बोला जाता है कि एलियंस का कोई एग्जिस्टेंस नहीं है, लेकिन कभी कभी यूएफओज है वो देखे जाते हैं. वी डोंट नो वेयर at which place everything is there, because the entire galaxy is very big. So this is called as biodiversity. This term was given by whom? This term was given by scientist Rosen. Round about 1.7 to 1.8 million organisms are known to us. मतलब ये तो सिर्फ 10% ही है, and 90% of the life form is yet to be explored. हमें 90% of the organism के बारे में पता ही नहीं है. That is what we have already done. Now next, taxonomy. What is taxonomy? Taxonomy, it is the science that is dealing with identifying a particular species, classifying it in a particular part, and then naming it, that is the nomenclature of the organism. So science which is dealing with identification, classification and nomenclature of the organism is called as taxonomy. And who is called as the Bapuji of taxonomy? It's Carolus Linnaeus. Next, why is classification important? Classification is important because biodiversity is endless. पता ही नहीं है कि कितने स्पीसीज हैं. हमें तो सिर्फ 1.7 से लेके 1.8 मिलियन स्पीसीज ही मिले हैं. Organism can be easily studied on the basis of their classification. That is one of the very important point. Interrelationship between the different categories can be studied, and it also helps to obtain the whole range of the biodiversity. Moving on, the further part, that is early classification. सबसे पहले classification का concept है वो किसके brain में आया था? The field of biology that deals with classifying organisms, that is called as taxonomy, and Carlos Linnaeus, he is considered as the father of taxonomy. Why? Because he was the founder of the binomial system of nomenclature. मतलब कि उसने ऐसे बताया कि आप दो चीज है उसे आप कैसे क्लासिफाई कर सकते हैं या उसका नाम कैसे दे सकते हैं. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज बायनॉमियल नॉमेनक्लेचर. देन द नेक्स्ट पार्ट, उसने बायनॉमियल नॉमेनक्लेचर दिया, पर ये जो कंटेंट है बायनॉमियल नॉमेनक्लेचर का काफ़ी छोटा सा कॉन्सेप्ट है एंड इट इज़ एट द लास्ट पार्ट ऑफ द टॉपिक एंड वी विल डू इट एट द लास्ट. कि नाम कैसे दिया है आपको पता ही नहीं है, अभी तक आपने किंगडम एनिमलिया पढ़ा ही नहीं है, इसलिए आपको काफ़ी सारे नामों के बारे में मालूम ही नहीं होगा, इसीलिए करवाया गया है. Come on, let's move further. Classification and evolution. The changes that are occurring in any organism वो same generation में detect नहीं होते हैं. Let me give you one very small example of how actually the evolution is taking place. अब गॉड ने बीटल्स बनाई, तब गॉड ने बीटल्स का कलर बनाया था रेड, लेकिन ये बीटल्स खाते थे क्या? दे वर ईटिंग द ग्रीन लीव्स अराउंड. अब जैसे ही उन्होंने ग्रीन लीव्स खाना शुरू कर दिया, बीटल्स हैं उनमें जो पैचेस होने लगे, ग्रीन कलर होने लगे, उसमें ग्रीन कलर के पैचेस होने लगे आफ्टर ईटिंग रेड अरे ग्रीन लीव्स. नेक्स्ट क्या हुआ? धीरे धीरे ग्रीन कलर का प्रोपोर्शन है वो बढ़ता गया. जस्ट अ मोमेंट. ठीक है, लाइक दिस इट इज. The proportion of green patches in their body, it increased. उसकी बॉडी में ग्रीन पैचेस हैं वो बढ़ने लगे. सादा प्रोपोर्शन उनकी बॉडी का ग्रीन बनने लगा. मतलब कि पैचेस ग्रीन की जगह रेड होने लगे. ऐसे बहुत ज़्यादा प्रोपोर्शन में हो गया. मतलब अगर हम बात करें तो सिर्फ शायद ही ऐसा कुछ पोर्शन था उनकी बॉडी में जो ग्रीन की जगह रेड था. ग्रीन का प्रोपोर्शन बढ़ने लगा, इसीलिए फाइनली जो बीटल प्रोड्यूस हुआ उनकी बाद की जनरेशन का वो बाय डिफॉल्ट ग्रीन कलर का आया. दिस इज हाउ इन बीटल्स द चेंज टुक प्लेस. मतलब ये वही बात है कि क्लासिफिकेशन है वो एक पर्टिकुलर जनरेशन में फील नहीं की जा सकती. यू कैन नॉट फील द चेंजेस इनटू द सेम generation. Now, how are the organisms classified? They are basically classified into two types. That is, they are either primitive or advanced. Primitive means in their body, major changes are not observed. Example is Selachinella. Over here, if they are having complex body design, then they are called coming into the category of advanced organism. An example is human beings. Let's move further on the next particular topic, which is the hierarchy. You have already studied about this: species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, and kingdom. Okay, this is the basic way by which you have studied the hierarchy, and this is the way you try to recall it. Dumb King Philip came over for gooseberry soup. This is the example. I hope you remember. मैंने ह्यूमन बींग्स का भी कराया था, लेकिन ह्यूमन बींग्स का मैं रिविजन में नहीं लेने वाली हूँ. अब इट वॉज जस्ट फॉर योर नॉलेज. इसमें दो ही स्लाइड्स हैं, and this is very important. Species is the basic unit of classification, and they are having common ancestor. Example is Panthera tigris. If we talk about genus, they have common ancestors. They resemble each other in many features. Example is all the panthers, that is the family of tiger, lion, leopard. Family that is containing one or more gene. If we talk about the panther and phallus, then together they are having retractile claws. They come in a particular family. After family are having order of Felidae and Canidae. Both are coming into carnivores order. All the carnivores are coming into a group of all the orders. It is coming into class. An example is over here it is coming in Mammalia. Phylum, that is group of all the classes, over here it is chordates. Then kingdom, that is group of all the phylums, and here it is group kingdom Animalia. Basic domain is either of the type of prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Read it once again. I'm not asking you to write it. I'm giving you just 1 minute to read this. Now you may read the next slide. See that it stays in your brain. Read it in the way so that you don't need to memorize it anymore. Let's talk about further, that is biodiversity. How did Carlos Linnaeus divided everything? He divided into two kingdoms, that is Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. Now Euglena and virus, they couldn't fit into any group. They were not satisfying these characteristics, and bacteria and fungi were placed into the kingdom Plantae. So the problem occurred, and basic unit of classification which came up with five kingdom. What was the base of this five kingdom classification? Very first one was body organization, then cell structure, presence and absence of cell wall, mode of nutrition, and the phylogenetic relationship with the ancestors. This is the entire chart which shows how the division actually took place. The body organization states that it can be either prokaryotic or eukaryotic. If it's prokaryotic, then in prokaryotes we are having only bacteria. I hope you remember. Here we have one thing, that is the bacteria. That means which kingdom? It's kingdom Monera. And how are eukaryotes further bifurcated? Eukaryotes are further bifurcated as unicellular and multicellular. If we talk about the unicellular organism, then it is Protista, but multicellular, then in that again the category comes as with cell wall and without cell wall. If we talk about with cell wall, then in there are two possibilities, one which are non-green and one which are green. In green you are having the chloroplast that is performing the photosynthesis, that is coming under the category of kingdom Plantae. If we talk about non-green and do not perform photosynthesis, then it's kingdom Fungi. And without cell wall, if it is, then it is kingdom Animalia. This should be at the tip of your tongue, and right now you have to note down this again. Okay, be quick. This is very, very, very important. Quickly note it down. Let's start on the binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature, this is the part which you will do in the further content. The next part which we started about how the division took place. For that you are having about a dichotomous key. That means a series of questions that is coming having only two possible answers, either yes or no. Example of it are the plants, insects, trees and people. Five kingdom classification as Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Let's talk about kingdom Monera. How is kingdom Monera further divided as? It's further bifurcated into five parts. Now this is the entire kingdom Monera. How it is divided? It is divided into 5 parts, that is bacteria, cyanobacteria, archaebacteria, mycoplasma, and actinomycetes. If we talk about bacteria, then bacteria are unicellular. The radii is approximately equal to 1 micron. What are these? What is the shape? Spherical rod like. They're having cell wall. They have flagella for locomotion. One that is its last point. For the cyanobacteria, try to recall how we had learned. सबसे पहले we had learned actinomycetes के generally जो उनमें होते हैं present in soil, water and food. Mycoplasm, they are disease causing microorganisms. They grow generally as parasites in the body of plants and animals. Then it was Archaebacteria, which is the oldest form of life, and it contains all the autotrophs that get amino acids and proteins by oxidation of ammonia, methane and hydrogen sulfide. If we talk about cyanobacteria, then these are blue-green algae that perform photosynthesis. Chlorophyll will help to synthesize the food. Example is nostoc and anabaena, that is fixing the atmospheric nitrogen where into the soil. So this is about the basic bifurcation of kingdom Monera. Read it once again, quick. Quickly read it. Let's move further. And the next particular part, that is Protista. What is Protista and how its basic classification is? All the Protista, they are mostly unicellular organism and they are eukaryotic. Eukaryotic, as we already know, only one is prokaryotic. They may have autotrophic or heterotrophic mode of nutrition, and members are having vast variety. You can see this is how amoeba is, and this at the top you're having over here paramecium. So you have this is paramecium. You have already seen this different types of protista. Oh yes, these are few different characteristics. Cell wall and protista is made up of cellulose. They are present in all the photosynthetic protista. That means cellulose is present in it, and cell wall, it may be made up of cuticle. It is absent in protozoa protista, and sometimes it is also made up of pellicle. These are its examples. If it's diatoms, then it will have which mode of nutrition? It will have photosynthetic. In amoeba, then absorptive. That means it will absorb the food from the nearby places. If we talk about amoeba, amoeba is having holozoic mode of nutrition. That means it will engulf the entire thing. Euglena, it is basically bifurcated as a mixotrop. Why? Because of its two mode of nutritions. If sunlight is present, then its mode of nutrition is photosynthetic, and in absence of sunlight it is saprophytic. So it is a luchoprotista. This is about the kingdom fungi. They are generally multicellular organisms except yeast. Cell wall might be made up of chitin, might be made up of cellulose, might be made up of both. If we talk about its nutrition, then its nutrition is saprophytic, and body of fungi is made up of thread-like filaments that's called hyphae. Food is stored in which form? Glycogen. Its reproduction is basically occurring into two parts, either sexually or asexually. If it's sexually, then it's through sex organs. If it's asexually, then through spore formation. This is the hyphae. Then kingdom Plantae, about which we had a very long discussion. They are generally green and they contain chlorophyll. They make food by which process? Photosynthesis. What does it include in it? It also includes algae, moss, vascular plants, trees, flowers, etc. Kingdom plant is basically bifurcated into two types, that is cryptogram and phanerogram. This is its basic difference, that is how are cryptogram and phanerogram bifurcated, and this is how they are divided. If the reproductive organs are hidden, then it's cryptogram. And if they are non-hidden, then that means they are having well differentiated reproductive organs, then it's the kingdom phanerogram. No external flower or seeds are produced over here, while here they are produced. Here the vascular as well as non-vascular tissues are present. Here only vascular tissues are present. Reproduction over here occurs through spores. Next is the basic bifurcation of kingdom Plantae's cryptogame part. Cryptogram is basically bifurcated into three types, that is Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. This is how they are further bifurcated. If we talk about Thallophyta, then they are primitive. They are not well differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Body design is extremely simple, that is called as thallus. If we talk about it, then algae is coming under its category. Now how is algae? It's unicellular. Where is algae found? In marine and fresh water. Its body is covered by a sticky layer that is called as mucilage. Its mode of nutrition is photosynthetic. And what are the color of the pigments? They are red, green and blue. Bryophyta, they are called as the amphibians. They have non-vascular plants. They are called as green thallus because in them rhizoids are present. That means no roots, but the leaves are present. So it is called as green thallus. The embryo stage occurs during the reproductive phase. It's haploid and its way of reproduction is of gametophyte. The sex organs are multicellular and checketed. Then comes, it is also called as the amphibian of kingdom Plantae. Then comes the next part, which is pteridophytes. They are the only one which are under the category of cryptogram, which is having vascular tissue. The body is well differentiated into root, stem and leaves, and the six organs are multicellular and checketed. This is about the entire three parts. Please read it. I'm not asking you to write it, just read it because it's very, very, very important. After that, we'll start on with the next part. Read the entire thing. So I hope you have read. Now this is the example moss, and this is how we have discussed how is uh, the sporophytic mode of nutrition occurring, means the spores are produced in a capsule, then because of some other reason the capsule will burst out and all the spores, it will fall on the uh, somewhere over here, and then everything will be done. This is fern, one of the bryophytes. Then we had pteridophytes. After that we are having the kingdom, which is Phanerogram. The phylum Phanerogram. They are further bifurcated, as you know, kingdom Plantae, Cryptogram and Phanerogram. If we talk about Phanerogram, then they are having true leaf, stems and roots. The leaves are modified into spermatophysis, that is like this, you can see. Spores, red color spores. This sporophylls, they are containing sporangin. Male and female gametes both are present, and male gamete will reach the female gamete through wind, water or animals. That is the basic way of pollination. Gymnosperms, this is about it. These are the basic characteristics of this is phanerograms are bifurcated as gymnosperms and angiosperms. If we talk about gymnosperms, they are tall evergreen trees, roots, woody stems. The shape of the leaves is like this, needle-like. So this is about it. Vascular tissues are present, the cones with the reproductive structures are present, and naked seeds in the female cones are seen at the dry places. The flowering plants, that is the angiosperms, are bifurcated as monocot and dicot. This is the basic difference between the gymnosperm and angiosperm. Gymnosperm, they are, the name itself states the seed is produced in the plants. The seeds are naked. They are evergreen, woody and perennial plants. The ovary is absent. The vascular system is partially developed. The male spores are produced in sporangia. We have already discussed what that is, that red colored structure which you saw on the leaf. Male spores are produced in the microsporangia, and these are called as pollen grains, and haploid is not formed in forming embryo, but it is stored as food. Angiosperms, the seeds are encased inside the fruit. They are evergreen, annual and perennial plants. They are deciduous. Ovary is present, vascular system is fully developed. The male gamete is called as stem and female is called as carpel. And after pollination, fertilization will take place where ovule gets developed as seed, ovary as fruit, embryo is enclosed within the seed, and these are the parts of embryo, that is plumule, radicle and cotyledon. Plumule will get developed as shoot, radicle will get developed as root, and cotyledon will get developed into leaves. This is its basic bifurcation. Please read it once. Pollination. Be quick and read it. Kindly be quick and read it. Once you read it, it will be clear to you that this is the part which we had done. Moving further, you already know that angiosperms is further bifurcated into two parts, which is monocot and dicot. Some of the important parts regarding the monocots, it's like they are mono means one seed leaf. The leaves have parallel veins, means ऐसे parallelly veins है वो जाती हैं. Then next, they are the herbaceous plants. Example is the grass and the maize. If we talk about the dicots, they are two seed leaves. The veins are they have leaves in the veins in the network. Example is tree, sunflower, and rose. Here, if we talk about their leaves, then they are having this way, like this, articulate one. We've already discussed about the difference between the monocot and dicot. With this, the entire revision of Kingdom Plantae till Kingdom Plantae gets over, and now Kingdom Animalia starts. Before we start on with Kingdom Animalia, the entire chart, if we talk about the chart, then which are the parts? Basically, there are 5 parts, that is Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. Here you have 5 subdivisions: bacteria, cyanobacteria, archaebacteria, mycoplasm, and actinomycetes. Protista, no, nothing you are having extra part in it to learn, only its basic characteristics. Fungi, you are again not having. Plantae, yes, it's having. Here there were 5 kingdom plantae. Basic bifurcation is into how many types? It's of 2 types. Which are those 2 types? It is cryptogram and phanerogram. Cryptogram is further bifurcated into thallophyta, bryophyta, and pteridophyta. Phanerograms into gymnosperms and angiosperms. Angiosperms further bifurcated as the monocot and dicot. Kingdom Animalia is bifurcated into 9 subphylums. If I'll just speak the names, then also you'll feel, oh, it's like that much. Like, let me start on. Okay. Kingdom Animalia is containing 9 subphylums. How many subphylums? 9 subphylums. Okay. So this is all the part that we are going to do in our next session. Let's have a look at the entire part of Kingdom Animalia. If we talk about its basic subphylums, the phylums are very bit ahead. पहले तो हम सीखेंगे कि क्लासिफिकेशन कैसे होता है और सब फाइलम्स कौन से हैं. दे आर पॉरीफेरा, सिलेंट्रेटा, प्लैथलमिंथस, नेमाटोडा, एनिलीडा, आर्थ्रोपोडा, मोलस्का, एक्टिनोडर्माटा एंड कॉर्डाटा. नाम लेना ही मुश्किल था. आप सोचिए अंदर कितना पोर्शन होगा. बट डू नॉट वरी, इफ यू रियली वांट टू लर्न किंगडम एनिमेलिया, देन इट्स just a game. Yes, believe your ma'am, it's very easy. So next time we'll meet with Kingdom Animalia, and that's all today. For today, have a good day all of you, and do the homework regularly. That's all. Bye bye.